Hello, my StreamYard said it's showtime. It's showtime. It is iOS Tuesday time. Welcome to my live stream. I'm so happy to be here with you. I'm so happy to write here with you. So, yeah, if you're new to my channel, if you're new to my live streams, my name is Eugene. I am an iOS developer. On Tuesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and I think it is 7 p.m. Standard Time, I do iOS Tuesday Live, where I talk about iOS, I talk about like Apple, I talk about software development, I talk about career development. In some cases, I mean, in the future, I hope to start doing live coding. So I do have like a project in mind that I will be sharing with you later. But if you're joining, tell me where you are watching from. So my live stream is really informal. Just if you have something to say, if you have questions, if you have thoughts, feel free to send me a message. So yeah, and we will chat. So in this live stream today, we have a lot to cover today. So today we're gonna briefly go over Apple event, what was released. I'm an iOS developer. I'm a huge Apple fan. So we're gonna go over today. We're gonna share about. I'm gonna share with you news. So if you heard about a lawsuit between Epic and Apple, so and it's kind of related to our topic later. So we're gonna talk about App Store review guidelines. So and I think Epic, it's a gaming company, and Apple and that lawsuit, I think it affects Apple Store review guidelines. So I have to bring this up. I have to bring this up. So we have a lot to cover today, and I don't want to stream forever. So like I would like to keep it kind of concise. So let's go ahead and jump into streaming. Let's start with Apple events. So I don't know about you. I watch every Apple event. What was released today? iPhone Pro 13. You know what is interesting about iPhones? In my opinion, every like after iPhone 10, they'll they'll look kind of the same to me. Like honestly, so I don't even I don't even remember which iPhone I have because when it comes to Apple, I love Apple products. I love Apple products. I use Apple. I use almost all Apple products when it comes to tech. Like my cell phone is iPhone. I use obviously as an iOS developer. I use MacBook, and I used to have iWatch. So I like Apple products. But when it comes to iPhones, I don't know. Like after iPhone 10, they'll look kind of the same to me. Like they're good. Like it's a good quality product. I like it. And yeah, like I'm not really super impressed by iPhones anymore. If anything, I'm more impressed by new frameworks, by new technology that Apple provides, but with new um functionality that Apple introduces. But like iPhones is not really my thing. Apple Watch, um, those are great products. For me, like I used to have one and it broke, and this Apple event said it was extra durable, so I might get one because I need extra durable because I work out, and apparently I broke my iWatch when I was working out at home. So iPad Mini, so all of those like great products, and at some point I need to like buy myself iPad. Every year, every time I hear about like new products, I like iPad, I need to buy iPad. So we have a common, so no real difference in the look, but it is a gorgeous device. Still gotta stick with my trusty Samsung now. I used to have Samsung now. It was okay, but like it was okay. So there were people in my family who had Apple, and I got Samsung. And at some point, I said like, nah, I'm gonna go with Apple. It's before I was an iOS developer, so iPad. So I think so. Like when it comes to like Apple event, I have to mention that I like the production, I like the video, I like the presentation, I like all of that. It was absolutely beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. The music and the video and the presentation, but the products those themselves, like I mean, like it's nothing new. Like it's not like it's nothing. It's really nothing new. So it is Apple event. Cool products. I don't know if I'm gonna buy if I don't know if I'm gonna be buying a new iPhone. Like I'm happy with my iPhone. So maybe next year. Maybe next year. But I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Tomorrow is my birthday, so like maybe I will spoil myself with not iPhone, but with Apple, like with Apple Watch. So now this is interesting. This is interesting. Epic is a gaming company, and Apple, they were in the litigations. And so, long story short, the judge ruled that Apple must provide not block alternative methods for payment, except for um, Apple payment for the apps. So it's like the judge ruled that it is legal and it should be allowed. So the third party developers would be able to utilize their own payment method when it comes to utilize their own payment method when it comes to um, payments, so that they can utilize that. But still, judge ruled that Epic has to pay Apple for breach of contract because they violated the contract. But like despite that, even though they did violate the contracts, still judge ruled that Apple have to provide an alternative method for for developers to provide payments. So I think it's a like I think it's an interesting I think it's an interesting thing, and we're gonna talk about a little bit later in the stream where we talk about the App Store review guidelines. So I think it is quite interesting. So, and I will actually send you a I will actually send you a comment if I can, like right here. Um, yeah. So I sent a comment in my chat. I've never done that in a StreamYard. So like if you're curious about the article, the comment is in the link is in the comment, so you can read it if you want to. So, but like I will leave a link in the description for this live stream as well. So let's talk about App Store. Let's talk about App Store guidelines. So it's gonna be interesting. So App Store review guidelines. So in this review, it's a pretty lengthy document, and let me increase my size here so you can actually see what I'm reading. It is pretty lengthy document, and it explains everything about like App Store and the review and what your app must comply with. And a lot of y'all on one of my videos where I posted a tutorial how to create an app like or portfolio app utilizing WebView, and a lot of people got excited. Like, yes, I want to create a mobile app utilizing my website. If I can just use web views and deploy it in the App Store, here it is. Here it is. I don't have to develop a mobile app separately. I have a website. I can just utilize my website and call it a day. And that would have been really easy and smart, but unfortunately, it is not quite an option. Your app might be rejected because of that. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. So let's start with like the introduction. The introduction, let's basically say, hey, make sure that you don't deploy garbage to App Store, and make sure that it's safe and compatible with our system. And basically, you're responsible if your app produces content, if your users of your app produce content, you have to moderate it and like be responsible adult, and make sure that if your app is made for kids or not made for kids, you emphasize it in the age appropriate category. So that's pretty much what the introduction says. And the first section is safety and objectable content. So um, it's pretty interesting that App Store, they start with the safety first, and they postulate. In other words, they let you know that your app can contain derogatory, discriminatory language, mean language. You can target certain groups of people, including different nationalities, different races, different genders, and sexual orientations. You can present certain groups as enemies, and you can depict illegal or reckless or dangerous objects in your app. So, and also you cannot share overly sexual or pornographic material on your app, as well as promote prostitution on dating apps or as they use hookup apps. So ideally on the hookup apps, you may not empower your users to share explicit images, pornography, and explicit content. Hello, my friend. I'm happy that you joined my live stream. Hey there. So, and it's like when it comes to safety, it's an interest and objectable content. It's really interesting because you can't really um, you can really you can't really control your users what they're gonna post. Like, yes, you have to enforce moderation, and it's appropriate. But what if you use messaging app? So, for example, they say that you may not empower explicit content and pornography and prostitution. But let's say iMessages, right? Like messaging app on I iPhone, right? If people choose to share sensitive content between like one another and promote like sex work, well, they could do it. But I guess when it comes to messaging app, a communication app, you have to provide an option to report it, so user can report users who do that, and those users can be banned. And you cannot use inflammatory language or inaccurate or misrepresenting quotation about religious text. So, in other words, be respectful to other religions, and it's kind of self-explanatory. But like a lot of religions and a lot of churches utilize mobile apps right now, and I think this is really important to point out because. religion can be really controversial, and like certain religious organizations may feel strongly about certain teachings and certain like religious groups, and they may post something on their mobile app about it. For example, I don't know, like one church may not like Catholic Church, or like Catholic Church, like not so much Catholic Church, but like one religious group may not like another religious group. And that comment may not be necessarily offensive, but it can be interpreted as misleading. So like that's something to keep in mind. So if you work on a religious app and you watching this, make sure to check that with your church, with your organization, so you don't falsely, or you don't provide false information or misrepresentation on another religion. So, and of course, this is like 1.1.6 false information and feature including inaccurate device data, trick, joke functionality such as fake location trackers, uh, uh, stating that app is for entertainment purposes won't overcome this guideline. So like uh, basically, if you like, basically, don't provide false information in your app, even if your app is for prank. Like it, something that you might want to like think thoroughly if it is like a game or a prank to prank other people. So you might want to think about it, how you're gonna wrap it around, because like because of that your app um, uh, can be um, can be rejected. So, user generated content. So basically, this section is all about that your user can generate content, and if your user generate content, you are responsible for moderating this content. Yes, user may place or post inappropriate content on your mobile app, especially if they're allowed to use video and audio and video and images. So, but it's your responsibility to moderate it. So, if you come out with the next Facebook or next social media app, keep that in mind, that you have to moderate your app and you have to moderate your users. And uh, yeah, and you are responsible for removing the content. What did I miss? What did I miss? You didn't really miss a lot. So I talk about Apple event. So like new products that were released, um, the usual, and we kind of talk about the lawsuit between Epic and Apple, and that the court ruled in favor for Epic that Apple have to provide or have to allow developers to provide alternative payment methods versus like just like Apple method, but that they can provide their own links. But also like Epic is responsible for financial damages because they breached the contract. And pretty much we like if you look here, we talk about safety, we talk about introduction, we talk about safety. I think you join us, we'll talk about safety, and we keep talking about content like App Store guidelines review. So content has to be moderated. Kids category. So also like really important point, make sure that you specify your videos as for in age appropriate category. Especially if your app is not for kids, make sure that you specify that. If your app is for kids, it's explicitly says that you may not, or you should not place payment links or other confusing information that might be misused by children. So, in other words, if your app needs to be purchased, the parent should purchase it. But like once parent purchase that app, kids should not have information to the payment. Like it should be about like the kids content, the app content. It shouldn't be a lot, and it shouldn't be filled with other stuff. Physical harm. This is interesting. This is interesting. Physical harm. So you may think, okay, mobile app, how does it like harm me physically? Can it harm you physically? Yes, it can. And it says about medical apps. So if your medical app, if your medical app pre, display incorrect medical information about medications or other stuff, and your user harms themselves in because they use your mobile app, well, that might be a problem. That might be a problem. When it comes to stuff like that, it has to be FDA approved. It has to be. I think it has to be yeah, like drugs dosage calculated must come from the drug manufacturer, a hospital, health insurance company, pharmacy, and other approved entity, or receive approval by FDA. So yeah, and this is why deploying a medical app or app related to like any medication, uh, anything medicine related is really complicated. I used to work. I used to work for a medical app, and yes, we had a lot of trouble with that. I love new iPad mini and camera capabilities on the new iPhone 13. Yeah, I noticed that too. Like I used to use my iPhone for creating videos. Now not so much. I have my camera. Like I'm an adult now, so I I finally can check my phone, and my phone won't stop recording when somebody is calling me. So this is nice, but I should probably explore at least iPad mini, or like I should like, if I'm being completely honest, I really wanna like buy me iPad Pro, and just try to use it. But like because I use my mobile phone everywhere, I don't know. Like either I need to downgrade my phone. I need something really really simple, really really compact and small, and just use iPad for everything. So that would work because I have Pro phone, and it's basically like a mini computer, and it's big, and like I like it. So that's why I'm not buying iPad as of right now, because like my phone does everything for me. But thank you for your comment. So, uh, yeah, medication, drugs, and things like that. App that encourages consumption of tobacco and vape products, illegal drugs, excessive amount of alcohol are not permitted on the App Store. Apps that encourage minors to consume any substances will be rejected. So this is another interesting case. And I'm on board with that. Yeah, like your app should not promote unhealthy lifestyle. But let's talk about like mobile apps that related to vape products. Um, I think there was like a product Mint. It's a vape, and they had a mobile app. Don't quote me on that. Like I'm not 100% on that. So, but like I remember there was a vape, and they had a mobile app. So, and I think it is still an app store. Like, I mean, it technically doesn't encourage you to like use vape products. It just works with the device, but like on like blue using utilizing Bluetooth technology. Do you have to deal with Apple guidelines much at your job, um or it is all done through HR? Yes, yes, I do. and it goes both ways. Like for certain stuff, we have to inform HR and say, "Hey, we can do this," or "Hey, we should do this," or HR says, "Hey, you should do this." So, and we do this. Sometimes we receive particular feedback from Apple um, to fix it. So, and we fix it. So, like, but yes, yeah, yes, I do. And it's not just me. It's the team. We handle it. We have pretty big iOS team, and like, yes, we do. Yes, we do. But yeah, like another interesting part, like we have so marijuana is legal right now in a lot of states, and there are mobile apps related to marijuana. And I mean, they're in the App Store, obviously, but also um, it's a kind of gray category. Like you're not really promoting marijuana, but it's a legal drug, and like on the federal level. And how do you handle like how do you handle your app in a state where marijuana is not legal? What do you do about that? So because, for example, um, I don't know, Wyoming, that or like Idaho. I think Idaho. I marijuana is not legal in Idaho. Um, your app that, like, for example, wheat maps, or I don't know, like what other like. I only know wheat maps because I knew a person who used to work for wheat maps here in Colorado. Though he moved to Seattle later, and like, yeah, how do you handle that? Like, that's kind of interesting question, and I know that, and I know that. What I was gonna say, and I know that those apps are available throughout the states, but like it's kind of interesting how each state will will determine that. Like, I guess when it comes to marijuana, like and mobile apps, you know, like states just like don't pay close attention. I guess if you don't distribute products through your mobile app, that's fine. But like something to keep in mind. So if you are a marijuana enthusiast and you want to write a mobile app about marijuana, so just so you know, you might encounter challenges from App Store. You may encounter challenges from App Store, and you know how like the drug industry is changing and other substances are becoming legal. So I think it's a kind of shaky ground, like for app developers, like if your app is involved with that developer information. So long story short, your developer information has to be accurate and secure. uh you think they could use a co-location and just lock the app down based on the state? I think it is an option. I think it is an option. And honestly, like, I think it's a risky business for indie developer to develop that sort of app. It has to be handled by legal, because your company might be liable for distributing that mobile app. And not just your company, like, I'm going to sidetrack a little bit. So since we're talking about marijuana on my live stream, and it's a part of our lives. And for example, you are a developer and you have a green card, and you got an offer to work for a company that promotes marijuana. As a developer, you are not selling drugs. You develop mobile app. It can be controversial for you moving forward when you apply for citizenship, because if your app in any way or in any shape or form helps the user to consume or purchase federally illegal drug, your citizenship might be denied, and you are going to be in a quite tricky position. It's not necessarily grounds for removal or for deportation, but you know, until you have your U.S. citizen U.S. citizenship, I do not recommend you to work in marijuana industry in any way, shape, or form. So because it's like because it is a thing, because I was approached by companies to develop their mobile apps for weed. So something to think about when you're looking for dev jobs. Yes, yes, especially if you're not like especially if you're not citizen. So I had to, I the app looked really cool, but I decided not to interview with them because I knew that I that could be legal like challenges there. So, moving on, your developer information has to be up to date and correct. Data security, data has to be secure, and data has to be secure. Nothing nothing to report too much about. Reporting criminal activity, it's another like tricky thing. So we now we see a lot of apps that are reporting criminal activity, but make sure that it is permitted by your state, and make sure that you can shut down certain features about reporting illegal activities in your mobile app in the states where it's not legal. So again, it's something to think about, and something to think about. So performance, app performance, um, pretty easy section. Basically, the summary of the section: do not deploy garbage to App Store. Uh, beta testing, app uh, competentness. So like everything shit should be correct on your app. Links should be correct. Everything should be working, and everything should be decent. Again, double test, triple test. Use test flight on your app before you deploy to App Store. Beta testing. Beta testing is for test flight only. You may not. You should not beta test in your mobile app in the App Store, because App Store is production, and all related to beta testing, you test it on test flight. Accurate metadata. So, like, customers should know what they're getting when they download or buy your app. So, make sure that your app metadata include privacy information, your app description, screenshots, previews accurately reflect the app's core experience, and remember to keep them up to date with new versions. So like that's really important. So if when you deploy your app to the App Store, make sure that your screenshots reflect your mobile app correctly, and like basically metadata, like it should be accurate. If you're promoting products on your meta or in your metadata in your app, that data should be accurate. Those pictures of the products or goods that person is buying should be accurate. Hardware compatibility. So your app should be compatible with the hardware that you're delivering it to. So it includes iPhones, iPads, Watch OS, Macs. So you name it, and like TV OS. So your app should be compatible, and um, this guideline strongly encourages you to use user interface guidelines. So for each app, for each platform, Apple has user interface guidelines how to develop app for iPhone, iPad, watchOS, tvOS, Mac, and you should definitely use that. Software requirements. So basically, you should use public APIs. You can use third-party libraries and third-party packages, but make sure that you test it, and those packages are up to date. The app should uh, the app should be self-contained, and also one little thing about like software requirements, your app should not require you to disconnect from wi-fi to disable security features. I've seen mobile apps where developers say, hey, like, can you approve your app because it is going through the back channel, not necessarily through the app store. It shouldn't be doing that, or like certain sections of the app, and it shouldn't be doing that. Do you use any tools at work to automate screenshots with different device sizes? Yes, we do, and yes, we did. Fastlane is your friend. You can automate that kind of process using Fastlane, and you can upload like so. Normally, how it went for one of my teams that I used to work for, our UX UI designer, he would prepare all the metadata, and um, we provide us screenshots, and then we just upload it to the App Store. So that's software requirement. Business. Like business is a really long is a really long section. So payments. So we talk about payments. If you want to unlock features or functionality within your app by way of example subscriptions, in-game currencies, game levels, access to premium, yada yada yada, you must use in-app purchases. We just talked about it. I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious if Apple is going to update guidelines, because we just had this litigation between Apple and Apple, and they just got the court ruling. And I'm curious. I will keep an eye on it, and maybe in one of the live streams, I will update you guys that like they updated guidelines or not. So, but as of right now, the guidelines say, hey, like if you want to purchase stuff, use in-app purchases. You may not. Apps may not use their own mechanism to unlock content or functionality, such as license keys, augmented reality marks, QR codes, etc., etc. Subscriptions, like the same thing. Like you can use a subscription when it's incorporated out a renewable subscription into your app. Be sure to follow guidelines before permissible uses. So like, and it goes through the through the subscription. Like I will leave the link so you can, if you are using subscription model in your app, so you may go over that. Other purchase methods. When I was getting ready for a live stream, I got excited, like, oh, it must be it. It must be it. But like the following apps may use purchase methods other than in-app purchase. Apps in this section cannot, with the app, encourage users to use a purchasing method other than in-app purchase. This sentence is confusing. Yes, you can use another method, but but don't encourage it. I don't understand. Basically, other purchase methods like the following apps, reader apps. So, for example, what example? For example, you buy a newsletter app and it has subscription. It may use other mechanisms to unlock that. Multi-platform services. If your app provides service on multiple platforms, it may use other other service. Enterprise services. If your app is only sold directly by you to organizations or groups for the employers and students. So like you sell your app, you don't deploy your app necessarily in the app store, you sell it or you deploy it, but like you like the company buys it, you may use other mechanisms for the payments. So like uh, and good and services outside the app. If your app is just leading users to like certain goods, you can also use that. So like free standalone apps. Where is that? Yeah, free standalone apps acting as a standalone companion to iPad web-based tool. Do not need to use in-app purchase provided is not there is no purchase inside the app or calls to action for purchase outside of the app. um, then we have section about cryptocurrency, and like if you are utilizing cryptocurrency, this portion will go into details about cryptocurrency. I don't know much about cryptocurrency, so I won't dive into that deeper. Um, Apple Pay apps using Apple Pay must provide material purchase information to their users prior sale of any good of service. So, like this section talks about how to utilize Apple Pay if you use Apple Pay. Um, Advertising and displaying advertising should be limited to your main binary. So you may use ads. You may add ads in your mobile app. You probably have seen it with the little games that like you can download for free. But then to in order to move to the next level, there's an ad that you have to go through. Here it is. So like other business model. So what is acceptable, what is unacceptable. And I think that is what is interesting about the business. Basically the business portion talks about the money, what you can purchase, when you can purchase, how you can purchase, and mechanisms that you can utilize in your mobile app if you're selling or if you use subscription model in your mobile app. I am curious about updates after the court ruling and when they're gonna end up. So let's talk about design. Let's talk about design because design is really interesting. So if you're just joining, I would like to address one of my videos on my YouTube channel. I create a short tutorial how to create a mobile app or portfolio app utilizing web views. A lot of people got excited. A lot of people got excited, and not just like a lot of newbie developers got excited because like some of them have like WordPress website, like yo, like this is my app, this is my portfolio app, easy peasy. So I don't have to write a lot of code. I just upload my web views for my mobile app, and this will be in. Not so fast, not quite. So let's talk about design, and that design portion talks about it. So copycats, your app should be unique. Do not copy other stuff from other developers. from other developers. So your UI may favor other apps, but make sure that your app is unique. And if you copy other apps or other platforms, it may be rejected. Minimum functionality. Minimum functionality. Um, so your app should include features, content, and UI that elevate it beyond the repackaged website. Let me read it again because this is the answer. Like, okay, I have a website, I need a mobile app. Can I reuse my website as web view for my mobile app? You may, but your app may be rejected. Your app should include features, content, and UI that elevate it beyond every package website. Yes, you may use web views from your website, but your app should elevate beyond just the repackaged website. If your app is not um, particularly useful, unique, or app like, it doesn't belong to the App Store. In other words, if you have a website, you don't need a mobile app. If your mobile app just is exactly the same thing of your website. Yes, they can be very similar. Yes, they can be very close together, but your app should provide app functionality, even if it is related to your website. So this is why if you have a business and your business has a website and you would like reuse web views from your website in your mobile app, use it wisely. Use it wisely. Elevate beyond the repackaged website. It doesn't say you may not. It doesn't say you cannot. Yes, you can, but it has to be app-like. It has to be like a mobile app. It has to have mobile app functionality. So what I've seen personally when it comes to web views, I've seen the homepage would have different sections, and each section would lead you to the web view. So it's not necessarily repackaged the website, but kinda. But they also have other functionality in the mobile app that like user can utilize. So I've seen that happen before because like one particular app, I won't name which app, um, I went through the app. Well, it kind of like it looks different, but like every section, it's just a section of the website. But also, like, and I was wondering why they weren't rejected from the App Store because they provided functionality beyond the website. So they provided something extra, and it was definitely app-like. So like apps, so minimum functionality app using ARKit should provide rich and integrated augmented reality experiences. Merely dropping a model into an AR view or replaying animation is not enough. Basically, like, and this is really important because somebody shared with me their like AR app. Basically, they took a picture and throw it on the wall. That's not AR app. So your AR app should represent other things other than catalogs. Other than catalogs, apps shouldn't primarily be marketing materials, advertisements, web clippings, content aggregators, or collections of link. Meaning, like, yes, you may advertise stuff through your mobile app, but it's not the main purpose of your app. So your app cannot be just collection of links and and stuff like that. Um, App Watch, App Watch also, it's really interesting point that Apple Watch apps, they also should provide functionality. So it's not just the face. It's not just a face. It should provide or watch face. It should provide functionality, because if it is just like a static screen, it can be confused with watch face. So make sure if you provide a watch, um, Apple Watch app to your app, it has functionality. So and it goes a little bit more in details about like iCloud and iCloud Drive file managers. Like they should comply to the to the protocol. Um, Stuff like that. Remote desktop clients. If your app if your remote desktop app acts like a monitor of specific software or services, rather than a generic mirror or host device, you must comply with the following, and those are the requirements that you should comply. Spam, don't create multiple bundle IDs for the same app. So like uh, that's kind of understandable. Extensions, app hosting or containing extensions must comply with the app extension programming guide. So I didn't know about it, but basically you can create extensions for your app, and we're kind of short on time, so like I won't dive into it. I will if you want me to, I can probably create another live stream about like app extensions. But yeah, like it should comply with the app extension guides. So and like for example, what examples of the extension apps? For example, the keyboard extension, that might be an extension app. Stickers, um, it's another version of extension app. So and then it goes from for Safari extensions. Safari extensions must run on the current version of Safari on Mac OS. They may not interfere with Safari and Safari UI elements, and must never include malicious or misleading content or mode. Like stickers, also stickers are a great way to make messages more dynamic and fun, letting people express themselves in a clever, funny, meaningful way. And then it goes about extensions, and uh, the rest is legal. So I won't go over legal, but like into much details. But the one important thing is privacy. Apple is really, really, really big on privacy, and before you deploy your app to the App Store, make sure that you read through legal. Make sure that you provide information to your user at like how you use personal user information, because legit, it might be a reason why your app might be rejected from the App Store. So um, yeah, and this is pretty much it. I know it's a lot of information. It's a lot of information, and I appreciate you being here. So before I wrap up, um, first of all, who like everybody who chatted with me, thank you so much. And now, if you have any other questions or any other thoughts, please let me know. And now I'm here for you to answer any questions that you might have. Questions about like App Store review guidelines. If you have I may not answer specifically if I never uh, faced that problem before, like at my in my career at my job, but like I may know something, anything. So if you have any thoughts about Apple event, if you have any questions about guidelines, or anything you want to share, please share. Other than that, we were writing for 55 minutes, almost an hour. I really appreciate all of you being here. I try to keep my live stream within like an hour or like 40 minutes maximum. But if I have to go beyond 40 minutes, I normally write for an hour because I know it's hard to just stick with the live stream longer than an hour. So, yeah, I appreciate all of you being here. I don't see any, I don't see new questions. Uh, I had a great time with y'all. Thank you so much for jumping on the live stream. And yeah, great live, great live again, my friend. Highly informative. Yeah, thank you so much for writing with me. Thank you so much for being on my live stream. I really appreciate you. May turn me into Apple after all. I mean, Apple products are great. Apple products are great. I'm not trying to say that Samsung is not great, but like I didn't have the greatest experience with like my Samsung um um versus Apple. Thank you for live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I you finally on my live stream. Yay. And like when are you going to do your live stream? I will try to join. I also enjoy your live stream. So as swiftly tilting planet is another channel related to iOS and Swift UI. Tons of useful information. Actually, like I remember I was doing one of my projects and I actually used one of your videos for like troubleshooting like one of my UI views with Swift UI. So very useful information. Highly appreciate your content as well. Well, my friends, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, y'all.